Did you know that starting a New Year's resolution actually in the fall is likely to have a higher success rate than starting on January 1st?
It's true.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, in preparation time, it removes pressure of perfection and builds consistent habits, because building consistent habits is really the secret.
Absolutely. So today we want to talk a little bit about neuroplastic stacking, how those tiny habits can actually rewire your brain, and how to even start neuroplastic stacking.
Hi, I'm Rusty Cottrell, physical therapist. I've been into anti-aging and living as long as possible, as healthy as possible, ever since I was 15.
And I'm Debbie Cottrell, registered dietitian, also very much interested in healthy longevity as well as functional medicine.
So what is neuroplasticity? Someone might ask. You might ask what that is. What's the answer?
Well, actually, for many, many years, they thought that the brain, once the brain had kind of set in its way, that was it. There was not a whole lot you could do about it. But they found that actually the brain can rewire itself.
Wasn't there a saying, old dogs can't learn new tricks?
Yes, that was the saying. But now they found that old dogs can learn new tricks.
That's right.
Throughout their whole life. So new habits can create actually new neural pathways. When you think about
like a new road into a place, into a jungle, right?
Right. When you think about like the old wagon trains going across from East Coast to the West Coast, and there were significant ruts that those wagon wheels would kind of get stuck in, and so that's where you kind of get stuck in a rut. They thought that that was it, but they realize now you can actually move that wagon into a different pathway, create new neural pathways.
And once you do that, you repeat that, it strengthens that new rut.
That's right.
But it can be a good rut if you want to say it that way.
Yeah. So what is neuroplastic stacking? That's a new one I hadn't heard about.
Well, when you stack something, you're stacking something on top of another. So if you do 2 or 3 things at a time, small habits, you can actually build momentum by combining those.
So using existing routines as anchors for new behavior. So what I mean by that would be if you have a particular habit that you're already doing, let's say brushing your teeth, and then you add a new habit onto that that you want to create as a new habit, actually anchors that into the new behavior and helps the habit to stick faster with less effort. So why does stacking work?
Well, it essentially is building on behaviors that you already do. So you already got something accomplished, you just add something to that good habit.
So that reduces decision fatigue. So sometimes, I know I'm challenged with this, that making a decision.
Just make a decision, dear.
How many times have I heard? Just make a decision. Even in my own head, I say it. To reduce that decision fatigue, you have that decision already made by anchoring the new habit into the old.
Yeah, it turns effort into an automatic routine.
So that uses a natural reward loop within the brain to actually reinforce that change. So what are some examples of simple habit stacks?
Well, the first thing I do after waking up is I drink a glass of water.
And potentially after brushing your teeth, 2 minutes of deep breathing.
Actually, I brush my teeth first before I drink water, and I clean my tongue.
That is true.
When I drink water, I'm thinking, ooh, I'm washing all that dirty tongue down my throat.
Now that actually wasn't a habit many years ago. You did get up just to drink your water. So
I added it.
Yeah, drinking the water was the established habit. Mm-hmm. You anchored in a new habit by doing it right before the established habit.
I had 2 things, brushing my teeth and scraping my tongue.
That's right. So you could add 2 minutes of deep breathing. Deep breathing is really important. You know, this is a little sidetrack here. A lot of people do a lot of shallow breathing. And maybe you've experienced this too. You sit at a desk all day long and you just like not really thinking about breathing and taking that deep breath to clear out the bottom of the lungs. Boy, that's a whole nother discussion.
You've probably been shallow breathing as you've been sleeping. So when you first wake up, it'd be a good idea to do some deep cleansing breathing.
That's right.
After lunch, take a 5-minute walk.
And maybe after work, write down one sentence of gratitude.
If that becomes a habit, that's just stacking.
So one of the things that I've actually started when I first wake up in the morning, because I realize how important it is to start my day with a positive thought, I've actually, when I'm laying in bed, just beginning to condition myself before I get up to think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. And it sets me up for finding and seeing the positive things in my day.
So that's your anchor habit right there?
Getting out of bed's a habit I've done.
A new habit, if you build a new habit, that's not your anchor yet. You're adding something, you're adding to your anchor. So whatever you first do, add something to that instead of choosing something all by itself.
Yes. And adding one new micro habit to that anchor habit.
That's another way of saying it. Keep the new habit under 60 seconds. Repeat daily to strengthen the neural pathway. And then celebrate the small wins to reinforce that reward loop that you get.
I remember hearing a talk at one point in time of a gentleman who decided that he wanted to get fit, but he knew that it was really important to have tiny habits that he knew that he would do. Because sometimes those big habits seem very overwhelming.
Atomic Habits, I think that book was.
Tiny Habits? I think the guy's name was Fogg. Anyway, he decided that every time he went to use the restroom, he would do 2 push-ups. Well, you think, what are 2 push-ups going to do? It seems like inconsequential, but it was something that he knew that he would do. And when he did it, he went, yay, I did my 2 push-ups. And then sometimes he'd do 3 or 4, and he'd celebrate doing even more than his tiny habit. And he noticed strength building consistently with those tiny habits. So just to kind of recap, small habits done consistently actually rewire your brain.
And neuroplastic stacking makes change easier. We all want things to be easier, faster, and more sustainable.
So start with one tiny habit today.
The 3 core neuroplasticity triggers are attention, emotion, and repetition. Let's go over those.
So with attention, you have focused attention tells the brain, keep this, strengthen this circuit. It's kind of like deepen this rut.
For example, let's just say you're playing pickleball and you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. You make a good hit, guess what? You don't know what you did. But when you're intentionally focusing on, I'm going to try to put topspin on the ball, and you do that and you're focused on it, you can actually strengthen that circuit by repeating that circuit. But you have to be attentive to it first.
That makes total sense. And I can see how adding an emotion to it would actually help to strengthen that, because many times when we attach emotion to something, it actually sits in our brain differently than when there's no emotion attached to it.
That's why typically women remember more than men, because men don't have a lot of emotion about certain things, and
That's true.
And you do.
So emotion, novelty, the reward increase, there can be dopamine, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, all of those things actually help to strengthen, again, what we called that little rut, and make that neural pathway stronger.
How about repetition?
Repetition and spaced practice. So repetition actually stabilizes the wiring. It's
kind of like the wagon going and repeating that trail until it becomes a rut.
Right, because you think about if the one wagon goes through, it makes a rut. But
Tiny.
The more wagons that go through it, boy, it really deepens it. It really strengthens it. So the more times you do this new habit, the more times it's going to strengthen and get stronger.
And why do they say space it out?
Well, spacing actually prevents burnout and boosts retention. So what about activation with these neuroplasticity, new neural pathways?
Well, essentially it's increasing arousal, readiness, and energy state, so plasticity turns on.
That's interesting. So that would include movement, exercise, your deep breathing again.
Cold exposure, like cold showers, cold dips.
Okay, polar plunges.
Sunlight, music, purposeful excitement.
A mental state shifting, curiosity or a challenge. So then activation can boost norepinephrine, which actually increases alertness.
Those are the things we talked about the things you feel when you're doing this. And you feeling the norepinephrine, and it feels like alertness. The dopamine feels like you're motivated, and the acetylcholine, it's getting a focus and precision happening because those chemicals are being produced.
So this would prepare the neural circuits for change, which is significant.
So start activating your neuroplasticity by some of these things we've suggested, stacking, adding little micro habits to the ones you already have. Remember, it doesn't take a lot of time, just 60 seconds, add a micro habit and see what you think. Let us know in the comments
what little micro habit you've added to your anchor habit, and let us know how it goes. The more people that actually try this, find that it works, the more we can share this and pass this on and help more people just actually get some of those micro habits done. And like we talked about at the beginning, starting now is, as we say in Hawaii, way more better than starting at the new year, because it gives you some time to prepare, not the pressure of that New Year's resolution. And you'll find that those habits, those little micro habits, the new ones will stick. You'll develop those neural pathway deepening, and you'll have success with the changes that you want to make in your health. So again, we hope this was very helpful for you. If you know someone that needs to learn about this neuroplasticity, the neuroplastic stacking, developing new habits, and how simple it is, please hit that like button so that more people will get to see this, and also feel free to pass it on to someone that you know needs this. And if you have any questions, throw them in the comments and we'll get back to you on this. And until next time,
Aloha.
aloha.